Do this. What we're going to cover today is how to go from bad to good and then good to great. We have some literal experts with success just dripping off of them in the video and the social media. And well, I'm going to go with video because I'm not even going social media. I'm going with video and the multiple uses for it. Our goal today is for everybody to put your cameras on. I can't see you. I don't know you're paying attention. I want to see everybody here. These guys are going to give their time and help us, which is just a gift. Our goal for today is to help you go from where I was, as Tiffany alluded to, gosh, 2 years ago. Oh, I'm going to do video. I'm going to do YouTube. I'm going to do whatever I said I'm going to do. And I didn't do a damn thing because I was so freaked out. By the way, I don't look good on camera and I'm not very well versed in this. Okay. Now, I say that because I have a wife who is a professional TV news anchor. And when we did, has anybody here, show of hands, people I've seen, has anybody here seen that video we did explaining EXP? It's a 21-minute video. If you haven't, Jackie and I did this video and we had a full production on doing it. It's a long, very good video. It should have taken about an hour, but because of me, it took 4 hours. Okay. I mean, like, okay, somebody's broadcasting. That's not me. Thank you, whoever just did that. And here's why. Sorry, I got stuff going on all around me. It took 4 hours because I didn't know about energy. I didn't know about lighting. We are lucky we had a crew that did. I didn't know about how to practice. There were so many things that inhibited me from being comfortable doing that. And our goal today is to get you comfortable. Now, before I introduce our speakers and our panel, because I'm going to ask them a bunch of questions, we're definitely going to open this up for Q&A afterwards around 9:15. I want to respect their time because all of us are at 9:30. Well, myself at least. We've got other things that we're doing. We're into prospecting and lead generating. Think about this. You don't just use video for social. You use video, you can use it. I'm sorry, you can use it. And I would encourage you in communicating with your buyers and communicating with their sellers. If you say it once, there's a very good chance that if you either, and we'll cover this, do you practice it? Do you go natural? Do you use scripts? Or you do bullet points? You can communicate it even better with a little bit of practice, and you're going to put your best foot forward. It'll also save you time. Video is the future. It is where we're going to be. You should be comfortable doing video. Now, I should have called on him to do this in Deep. I definitely want your input. I've got some very seasoned people on here. Deep has proven to be an expert in video and has gone through a little bit of a metamorphosis as he and Alina have really kind of jumped into the video sector. Deep, I want to ask you before I get to the pros, was it a little awkward and uncomfortable to start with?
Worst thing I've ever done. I hate being on camera. I don't know how I do Zoom, but when it comes to somebody's recording me, something happens. I become a totally different person. So it took me a while. I'm off the track a little bit. I took a little mini vacation. So hopefully you should be back on track this week going forward. So
how long were you doing? How long have you been doing videos?
I think it's been like 8 months, maybe 9 months.
Are you getting results?
Yes, we're getting conversations. We are seeing people share. It's not. I think the bigger picture that people keep on talking about results. I don't look at results. I look at transaction. I look at conversations, and I see how many people share that document. And I run into people at restaurants. They're like, "Oh, you're the guru guy." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, I follow you." I'm like, so that tells me enough that whatever I'm doing, I gotta keep on doing.
That's it. And we're going to find, or just for a Deep, thank you very much. And I promise you, I follow you at this point. I love what you guys are doing. I love how you've really evolved and how it's gotten so much better. We're going to talk to some people who have a fairly good pedigree in this. A couple, as I said, are professionals. So let's get into it. Jessica Baskis is with us. My God, $20 million in sales. A lot of her business is not necessarily, specifically this is video, but it's played a huge part in there. I'm going to let her talk for real quick and kind of give an explanation. Keith Landry, been a realtor for 3 years, selling about 15 plus homes. Now, Keith was an anchor with my wife, Jackie. So, I mean, professionally trained is an understatement on how to be comfortable in front of the camera and have some fun with it. Michelle Berto, same thing. She's already sold $3.4 million in the last 12 months. Woo-hoo, that's awesome. She's 2 years, a little under 2 years in the real estate industry. Also a professional news person, so has a lot of skill there. And last is Chris Dove, and I just love this young lady. She's my walking partner whenever we're in Las Vegas. A lot of her business is more commercial based, but as she'll explain it, it really does come from video and exposure. So what I'd like to do with the speakers, and I'm going to start off Jessica, then we'll go Keith, Michelle, and Chris to finish it, is kind of say, how did your business, how has video helped change your business? And for Chris and for Jessica, since neither of you were like professional trained or anchors as the other two are, were you uncomfortable when it started? Jessica, let's start with you, if you don't mind, just a couple minutes on a quick overview for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I first started, I actually couldn't do it. Like I was like everybody else, or I was like, this is terrifying. This is so weird. I keep staring at myself. Like I could not get myself to post a video. I was about a year into real estate at this point. I knew I wanted to, go the social media route, but I just wasn't able to do it. Like no matter how many people came on a mastermind and said, just post, I couldn't do it. So what I did to get myself there was I actually created a brand new page, which I'm not saying this is what I suggest doing, but if you are as scared as I was, being anonymous felt a lot better. So I created a brand new page I started on Instagram, and I made that page fully about real estate. And I was like, I just couldn't get myself to post in front of like people I went to middle school with. So instead of giving up, I went the other route and I just started pretty anonymously. I started from scratch. I started my Instagram page a few years ago, and then started posting video on there to what started out with 0 people to 5 to 10. And now a pretty great following on there. So for me, it actually started with not being able to do it and I couldn't push through it. So I had to start from scratch. I mean, that's one way of going about it. If you can just get over the silly fear, and I'm sure you guys have much better ideas on how to get past that than starting over. But for me, I just had to start from 0 and start with people I didn't know.
I love it. That not being known, not being, it's not you really, it's not Jessica talking, it's a different entity, allows you the ability to kind of disconnect, I think, so that you're not so self-conscious of how do I come across, because it's not really you, it's your persona almost.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's great.
Yeah. And then I just started, like, I made sure I didn't follow anybody in Florida. I literally started off like following people in other states. I was like trying to build up this, like, just following of agents at first, because I was so scared to talk to like anybody and anybody seeing it locally. So I really like started slow, and it was a slow burn, but at least that way I was able to post every day, not feeling as insecure about it. And then from there, now I'm like, doing professional video, and it's evolved over time. And now I feel so much more comfortable. I mean, it's a world of difference, but yeah, I had to start from 0 and start anonymous because I was so scared.
Outstanding. And I'm going to ask this of everybody. The panelists, they already have these questions, but a lot of times people will start with shorts and then evolve into full production videos. And we're definitely going to bring that up. I'd like to know the pros and cons of that as we go. So Jessica and everybody else, be aware that that's going to be a topic of conversation. Deep, I know you're engaged in that, and Tiffany as well. Anybody else that wants to, we can kind of jump in, but let's jump over. I want to go to Chris real quick, and then I'm going to go to our professional anchor people that cheated their way through here with great training and great skill. But boy, are they going to be valuable in helping us. So Chris, give us a little background, my friend.
Yeah. So I had a similar start like Jessica. I started a new page. I didn't want anyone to see me. I, as an individual, am highly, highly introverted. So if you see me at the grocery store and my head is down, and I will do anything to not talk to you. So getting on video for me, or even this Zoom call, is not natural. Like I probably, if you look, have red all the way up my neck. So I am by no means comfortable with video whatsoever, but it's how many times you have at bat. I feel like you get better. And for me, a lot of people like to post or shoot their content one day a month or a couple days a month. I have to shoot it when I'm feeling it. So like if I'm out at my multifamily and I like can spot a couple value adds, I'm going to pick up the camera and start talking about it because it's easier for me to do it like that than it is to think about what to post later on. So for me, when I post video, it's something that I'm passionate about. It's something that I feel like I can connect to an audience. And I'm not really using my social and my video to get leads or attract people. I'm more so using them to meet people where they are in a sale. So if I know that George is looking at a $600,000 house, you can bet what you're going to start seeing on my social media is $600,000 to $800,000 houses and how easy I can make the buying process. So it's not really about attraction for me. It's about a storefront or a resume. And kind of once I got that through my head and stopped being selfish because I'm too scared to get on video, and I realized that I can change people's life by teaching them, that's what kind of motivated me to get on there.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. By the way, I don't see the red at all in the color change. So you're good. You're doing phenomenal on this one. Keith,
Power of lighting.
we're going to cover that too. We are for sure. Because I've got it surrounding me. Maybe I'll show everybody what we're talking about. I'm sure you do as well, because your lighting is great and it's coming at you, which is great. So right up here is probably a circle light or something giving more light to you. But hold on a second. Oh, just good natural lighting. Oh my God. All right. Well, your house is better lit than mine. I'm in a dark little corner. All right, Keith, is Michelle Berto on the call? I don't think she is. Keith, you jump in though, Keith. I'm going to check.
She's dropping her kiddos off at camp and she'll be with us.
She'll be joining us a bit. So Keith,
yeah.
Tell us a little about how did you get into the TV, and then how, real quickly on that part, but how long were you doing news anchor stuff? Because obviously you're a hell of a speaker. And are you going to be comfortable sharing some tricks that you put into play that you were trained in to make you more comfortable and not as robotic as some people can be on camera because it's awkward?
Well, first of all, I want to say that the surprise of this call so far is that Chris Dove is uncomfortable doing video because she's amazing at it. And, you know, I don't spend a lot of time looking at people's videos because I just don't do it. I'm busy on other things, but Chris's stuff pushes through into my consciousness. Sometimes Alethea catches my attention too. So you guys are just being yourselves, talking about what you want to talk about and getting it done. So kudos on that. I was a news anchor right out of college. So I did that when I was a teenager. My mom said, I told her I was going to be a news anchor. And so I was. And I did that for 26 years. The last 14 of it was in Orlando. And I left that industry 7 years ago. So, but my point is that you don't need to be an on-air personality to be good at this. I think the key is just to talk in bullet points. So the strategy I would give you is to have an introduction, make 3 points, and then have a call to action or recap or move the issue forward. So just think of it in bullet points. The content's what is important. The good but not amazing video that gets posted is better than the incredible video that gets hemmed and hawed to death. So that would be my advice on that. During the COVID time, I spent some time working for a marketing company, and they did PR marketing for doctors. And during COVID, there was a dentist. She sat on her dental chair and she picked up her cell phone and she made a simple cell phone video in her dental chair explaining what the loss of taste was with COVID and why that happens. And just a simple cell phone video got hundreds of thousands of views because people cared about the content and it looked credible. So that's the key. Make it great content, information people can use, and just have something credible going on in the background.
Outstanding. All right. So we're going to jump into the questions right now. It's at 8:50 right now. We're going to go pretty quickly on this one. And we really kind of started on this one. So for my 3 panelists, for Chris and Jessica and Keith, I want you guys to jump in as you want to. We're going to give this about a minute. Preparing for the shoot, basically your mindset. What tricks can you put into play to get your mind right before you get started? And we're going to cover the bullet points. Here's a couple of things we're going to cover. We're going to cover scripts or bullet points. What's the better way to do it? Should you use teleprompter or not? Practice or go natural. We're going to talk about camera, talking to the camera, the pros and cons, and lighting. So we're going to cover a lot of that. But right now, just on mindset, the 3 of y'all, what do you use? How do you suggest somebody gets their mind right to do this?
The most important thing when you're going to do a video is don't worry if it's not perfect. Just get it done. You got to do video over and over and over. You're going to get better at it. But the thing I would tell people is imagine how we all use media ourselves, right? We're on our phone, we're scrolling through TikTok and Instagram, looking at short, entertaining videos. How can we somehow cut through that clutter to stand out among all the competition? It's personality, be yourself, just be yourself and have some content that people can use. Think ahead of time about what you're going to say. What is my introduction bullet point? What are the main 3 takeaways of this video? What's the 3 pieces of info I want to share with you so you get some value out of it? And how do I either recap it or move that issue forward or have a call to action? Go to my IDX website and search for properties or land now. So those are my thoughts.
Keith, one of the things that I learned from Jackie is don't bury the lead.
Correct.
Don't wait to get them attached to what you're going to do. So really, and this is my opinion and just mine, if you've got a topic you're going to talk about, make sure you communicate that in a compelling way up front. Don't go, well, hi, it's George, and I'm here to create a video for you, and I think you're going to like it, and it's going to be great, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to waste 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'm going to talk to the fact that I'm here to stop your house from catching on fire. Start with that. Is that
and if you do that, they're on to the dancing cats singing with parakeets.
100%, 100%. Jessica or Chris, do you have anything about mindset you can throw in here?
Yeah, I think, I think Michael put something really valuable in the chat. It's all about reps. I could not agree more. I'm like Chris, whereas like my normal day-to-day, because I post a lot to stories. So like my normal day-to-day video stories, they're just, off the cuff and I'm posting them. And I've gotten to a point where I've done enough reps in those that those can take me 5 seconds to do. However, I'm like now stepping into the realm of doing more professional, especially like listing videos and using those for marketing and content as well. And with the more professional ones, like as in hiring a videographer and all that, I actually had a video shoot last night for an upcoming listing, and I had to reread the script probably 7 times. So even as somebody who's been doing this for years now, I still had to repeat myself over and over and over and redo the same little shot. Because I mean, they have you like walk down a set of stairs 20 times, but it's like you just keep going and you keep doing the reps. And in my opinion, if you can't just record and post, then do the reps and do it daily and you will get
Outstanding.
at it. I mean, it took us all, you can tell the theme, it took us all time to get comfortable doing it.
Oh yeah, I agree. Thank you very much. Chris, what you got for us? What about mindset?
Yeah, so for me, you guys know me very well. The kind of person that if I'm scared of it, I'm definitely going to try to do it because I know that I'm going to get good results from it. So mindset, if you're going to be the kind of person that batches content and you can't just, do it on the fly yet, that's perfectly fine. Just set aside time maybe beforehand or the night before to prep yourself and write out things maybe that your clients have asked you or that you've asked your mentor or that, you found out. And something that's important to me is I try to provide value and I try to do it satirically. I'm a very dry humor personality. So if you go to my profile, I'm a lot kind of meaner than if you go to Jessica's, but I'm saying that because you want to be yourself when you're doing your videos. Like I'm not going to sit and pretend that I'm super, super sweet on my video because imagine me trying to psych myself up to talk like this on my videos. That's not me. I could never do that. That's why I'm in commercial because I'm not like that. And that's okay. So just be you. I talk with my hands like this all the time. I'm like Gumby. And that's okay. When somebody gets to your profile, they're going to like you or they're going to pass, like Keith said. And what's important is if they like you and they stay with you, it's because you're you. You don't have to psych yourself up to be something that you're not. So that's something that I really had to put in my own content planning.
I love it. Thank you. Chris, stay on because I'm going to come right back to you in just a second.
Okay.
We're going to we're not going to really focus a lot on lighting. Here's the thrust on lighting. It's going to look bad until you do this a while and then it will look better. but it shouldn't stop you because it's all part of the process. You will not be the best of the best at this out the gate, but you will get there very, very quickly. And as you've heard from all three of them, they're like, continue doing that. Now I have to ask this question. By the way, I'm going to share something with you. This is what horrible looks like. And I mean, you can't just do this off the cuff. You actually have to practice to be this bad. Ready?
Hey, Lori, this is George Philbeck. The strangest thing happened. Your name popped up on my phone yesterday.
Okay, that's about as much of that as I can take. The lighting's horrible. The camera sucked. I didn't know what I was saying, and I'm reading off a piece of paper while I'm actually talking to the camera. Yeah, don't do this, okay? That was a while ago, and we can now make sure that that one gets edited out. Joe, if you're watching, delete that video for the world. Nobody gets to see that again. So let's talk about talking to the camera. And how do you get yourself to do it? Because you saw me in that one. I was talking to a piece of paper and I was like, that's okay. But when we're doing these Zoom calls, I've trained myself to speak to you when I'll look over the place, but I try and talk to the camera so you see me talking to you. What gets you in a position where you can do that comfortably? And did it take some practice? Chris, why don't you lead us off on that one? We'll go backwards this time.
So it definitely took practice. I started by photoshopping myself into houses that were on Canva. So it's come a long way. I would say with talking to the camera, it makes me feel really weird saying this now that I'm thinking about it because I've never thought about it, but I just look myself in the eye, I guess, and just pretend I'm teaching someone. So that's what I do. That sounds really weird, but
no, that's huge because it gives insight into, all right, what do I do? Some people put a little dot by where the camera is, so you've got something to look at. It's up to you. It will make a difference that you get more comfortable talking to the camera, but you're not going to be perfect at first, and that's okay. You don't have to be because they like you, particularly if you're using these videos to send to your database, to send to the people you're engaged with already, to send to your buyers or sellers as an update of what's happening. They're interested in you. You don't have to be great. You'll get better right off the gate. We've watched so many of us do this. Let's do it. Jessica, can you talk about that? Talking to the camera. What helped you get to that point where you've gotten so fluid at this?
Yeah, I do. I do remember, especially in the beginning, how awkward that was. Like, where the heck do I look? And then I would rewatch the videos and be like, what am I looking at? And then I would stare into the camera and be like, oh my God, that looks horrible. And actually, this is a great question because I think it brings us all back to the beginning of like how awkward this really is. And I just want to reiterate that because I think the whole theme of this is done is better than perfect. Just post it because your first few videos are not going to be what your video looks like a year from now.
And you can delete them, right? I mean, you can delete them too. When they get really bad, build your content. When you get to 30, start getting rid of the bad ones at the far end of it. That's kind of my mission statement. Lose the crummy ones. This one's gone. It'll be gone tomorrow.
No, that's part of your story. That makes people like you.
Oh, well, I would agree with you as well, but not this one because this one's really that bad.
But I like that one.
Well, thank you. That's because we have a relationship. Oh, this is a footnote. Before we jump over to Jessica, I want you to finish, of course, but you're creating a relationship. They get to know you. And as Jessica was talking about, if I'm on camera and you guys can see me, this is the stalker look we're referring to. When you're looking at the camera and you're just, really, really focusing on it. That's scary. Okay. You'll do that. It'll go away, I promise. Jessica, please finish.
Yeah, and I
interrupting.
do want to say on that note, that's a good point. Study other people. So like none of us were just like picked up a phone and started recording and thinking that that was what would work today and it might not work next year. So study other people. So like before I even went down this journey, I was a consumer of video. That's why I wanted to do it. So a lot of what I've learned of like what works, what doesn't work, what works for the hooks, how to start a video, how to end a video, what to say, how long they should be. These are things that are changing every day and on different platforms. So studying what other people are doing and watching, even if you just go on your like For You page and just watch a ton of video, you'll start to see, oh, that's where people are looking. They're actually looking at the camera. Okay, this makes sense. So using the templates based off of what other people are doing as well. And honestly, no fancy equipment when getting started, zero. I still to this day lean my phone against my computer screen and hit record. I don't even use a tripod regularly. So I don't have a ring light. I don't use, even now, I don't use fancy equipment. I hire that out when, you know, the time is appropriate and I want to show off a listing. But for my day-to-day videos, I'm not even kidding you guys. I'm leaving my phone on anything I can and hitting record. So don't think this isn't something you can't start today.
Outstanding. Now, here's a little pro tip for everybody. If you have it, this is as you turn it sideways, you can probably see that it's got a little hook thing. What happens is it hangs on the back of your monitor and it attaches to your phone. So your phone actually is magnetized to it if I put it in properly. And then this hangs on your camera, and your phones, almost everybody's phones, will be a second lens for your computer. Particularly if you're a Mac user, you can almost guarantee that. But more important than that, it gives you the ability to have information below you, like your teleprompter right below you of your bullet points, which we're going to do next after we go to Keith. Keith, you're a pro at this. What do they do to help you learn to talk to the camera, to really communicate through it? Are there any tricks you can give us that are pro level stuff?
Yeah, I just want to first reinforce a point that Jessica made about using simple equipment and the phones and everything. Guys, imagine what an incredible opportunity we're in now to use video for your business. And we don't even think about it. We take it for granted because we do it and the technology is available. When I started in TV news, there were no cell phones. There was no cell phone with a 4K camera. The concept that you'd be able to shoot video on your cell phone in your hand is mind-boggling back in 1990, right? So just embrace the incredible opportunity to have affordable high-tech tools that are in the palm of your hand. Just want to give a little perspective on that. In terms of looking in the camera, I think it's okay to just look into the camera, and occasionally you can look down while you're thinking, you know, oh man, I'm thinking for a second. So I'm gonna look away and then I'm gonna look back. And, you know, looking into the camera is important because you want to connect. We communicate in different ways: our hands, our eyes, our facial expressions, the words, the tone, the way we look, what we're wearing, it all is part of the message. So I like to look down a little while I'm just having a thought and a moment to gather my thoughts. If you're doing a more fancy like YouTube video where you're actually talking to another person, maybe you're standing there or you're sitting in chairs in a studio type thing, you want to look at the camera and then look at them and then back and forth and listen to what they're saying and then agree with it. Yeah, that's good, and make your point. So I think just practice it, George, but it's totally doable. And if you're not perfect, it's okay. Just get the message out.
Keith, while we got you on, practice or go natural? And I know we're going to get different opinions on this one. Real quickly, do you prefer, well, when you started, was it really about practicing what your script was, or did you just kind of shoot from the hip? And we're going to jump into another question that kind of tags on there. Real quick, what's your answer on that one?
So I think if you try to memorize a script, it's a disaster. You're going to hem and haw and fall apart and lose your train of thought, and you're going to look like you don't know what you're talking about. So please don't do that. What I would do is I would make the bullet points ahead of time and I would practice those bullet points. And as long as you can get those key phrases in there and just be yourself and be conversational, that's what I would do. I would think of it as, hey, George and I are sitting at the bar having a hamburger and maybe a beer, maybe a root beer. And so we're just sitting here talking. George, I'm explaining my day to you. I had this listing appointment. It was pretty cool, blah, blah, blah. So you just want to be conversational, but work the bullet points into it. That's what I'd recommend.
Love it. So that's one for bullet points. Let's go to Chris. Chris, are you more of using a script or a bullet point? I can probably answer this for you.
Fly by the seat of my pants. Bullet points.
Outstanding. Love it. Jessica, what do you think?
On day-to-day videos, I'm just speaking to the camera and I don't even have bullet points. Like if you want a place to start, a good place to start is exactly what Keith said, talking about your day, right? Like we're realtors. It might not be interesting to us, but to most people, our day-to-day is interesting. Like they want to see the house. They want to see the pretty pool. So talking about, if I'm just going off the seat of my pants, like Chris does, it's just go for it. And typically I don't even have bullet points. Now, if I want to do like a market update, you know, that's a good thing for us realtors to incorporate. Everybody wants to know about the market. It's the most asked question we get. So if I'm doing a market update, that will be bullet points just on a sticky note. And what I'll do is I'll literally leave my phone, and then next to my phone is my sticky note with like a few bullet points of the stats. And so I'll read through that. And the good thing about at least like TikTok and Instagram, how they have it now, I do more short form for video. So you'll hear me talk about that more. So as you can start and stop the video. So I'm not even sitting here memorizing a full script. I'm not sitting here memorizing a ton of stats. I'm actually going one at a time. So you'll see my videos are a little spliced, but again, that's what performs well. So you don't even have to go and record like a full minute long video. You can literally start, be like, start your video, be like, okay, we just got the latest market reports. Here's what's going on in Palm Beach County. Click. Looks like inventory is up 25%. Click. So like you literally can just memorize little bullet points and you don't have to memorize them all at once. So that's my strategy.
That's awesome. I'm gonna actually show an example of that. This is the same thing. Now we do scripts and we do sometimes shooting from the hip. This is Jackie doing this. And this is a script that she remembered, and this is how long she has to remember.
Well, imagine living in the middle of everything. The best restaurants, all of the theme parks, plus exciting entertainment. Today, I'm taking you on a tour of Dr. Phillips. Let's go.
So that was one part. This is another part. They're all 3 or 4 second, or well, in this case, she went a little longer. Now she's a pro. I can do about 2 lines and I'm done. So if you want to write it out, you can actually do that. But remember, your editing allows you to do it. And there's usually some form of B-roll that's going to be put into it if you're doing a production video or YouTube video. And that B-roll is a break. If you know what you want there, you can kind of plan, okay, how little do, like we just shot one yesterday. We're talking about the stats. Stick around for all the stats on should you buy a house here in the Orlando area. That was my on camera. Off camera, I said, the first thing we're going to talk about is that there's 33% less inventory. Well, I'm not on camera for that. I can put B-roll in there. So that's my version of, and I, by the way, I have to say this for what Chris and everybody and Jessica does for sure. You're going to be more authentic if you're talking about a bullet point. And every one of us, ladies and gentlemen, if you could throw in on this one, have any of you caught yourself having the verbal diarrhea syndrome where you're talking on a bullet point and then a minute in, you're looking at yourself as you're talking to the camera going, Jesus Christ, what am I doing? I suck at this. Has anybody experienced that?
Oh yeah.
Chris, I see you nodding your head going, oh yeah. So that's okay too. It's okay that you went too far. So maybe you do that one again and shorten it up. Remember, stop being your biggest critic. There are people out there that love you and they want to get to know you. And this is a great way to show. And Chris is more satirical and Jessica's a little softer spoken. And, basically forget Keith. He's just, charming and looks like Brian Piccolo. Who is that? My favorite actor, James Caan. That's who he is, James Caan. So he's already got the good looks going. This is important. To start off, shorts or full production? Do you do reels and Instagrams and shorts, or do you jump into full production? What's the benefit of both of them? This will take a couple extra seconds. Keith, if you don't mind, I'm going to start with the ladies. Chris, shorts or full production? The ooze and the pluses and the minuses of each one of them, and where does somebody get started?
Sure. So I don't do any full production. My full production is I have a flip stick that you can get online. You can go on my Instagram. I can give you a discount if you use my link. It's a magnet for the back of your phone. You can stick it to anything. I do have a ring light. I have a remote where I can stop and start because I'm lazy and I don't want to walk back and forth. I walk enough on this call. So for me, that's my little mini production. And I also have like a DJI like Osmo thing gimbal that I'm going to start using for my house tours. Now, I use Instagram and TikTok. I am finding more productivity using TikTok, more trends using TikTok first, carrying over to Instagram. I want to get on YouTube Shorts, but I have been incredibly fearful and lazy. So I have not got on there. I need to set up my profile, my whole page. Right now, I just use my YouTube for like my flyovers of like my land videos and listings. So I need to kind of recalibrate that and then start putting content out because I want to have a whole storefront. So yes, YouTube is great. Instagram, TikTok.
Thank you very much. Miss Jessica.
Yeah, so I started short for many years. As short as just posting on Instagram stories was where I started. So that was, so easy. They delete in 24 hours, guys. So, if you don't like it, it's fine. It will go away on its own. And then I started moving into video. Once Instagram and TikTok came about, I started making reels and TikToks, which are a little more permanent. Those do stay, but like George said, there's always a delete button if you find you want to go back and delete the earlier videos. So I went from literally starting on 15-second stories, and then I went into making videos on TikToks and reels. And now, as of this year, I have started video production, and that consists of hiring a skilled team to come out to my listings, to record me, to do scripts, to do everything under the sun. And there is no way I would have been comfortable doing that. It is literally what has sprung me into luxury quicker than I could have even imagined. And there is no way that I would be comfortable doing that if I didn't start with the 15-second videos. Because now I have a team in front of me, I have production, I have lights, I have camera action, I have them writing scripts for me, I have, you know, like actual video that I'm talking to without me being able to edit and start and stop. And like I said, there's just no way I would have been comfortable doing that if I didn't start a few years ago on the short stuff.
So Jessica, real quickly on this one, and then we'll jump over to you, Keith. So you got comfortable doing the shorts, which were they're not it's not as production oriented. It's a little easier to produce these really off the cuff, and because they're 15 to 60 seconds, you don't have this massive thing. You can really get a thought or two out. And for somebody who like produces these and you can have a lot of fun with them, did it give you a level of comfort because you start getting some real positive feedback on these? And I know that's the case because I've given you positive feedback on those. And was it, in your mind, was that a good place to start before somebody, I don't know, like Tiffany got off her ass and actually got into full on production? I'm sorry, Tiffany, was that out loud? I didn't mean that to be, because now that you've got like good stuff, but is that a good transition, a good way to kind of get your feet wet in your opinion?
Yeah, because I feel like with the short stuff, I was really relating to an audience that I was comfortable with, and that, you know, I grew my following through the shorts, and I, you know, continued to just connect with people through short, and I still will. I'll still continue to do the shorts because I think that's really important for connection, for people finding you, for people just seeing you on the regular. Like, I don't post to the feed nearly as much as I should, but I don't do that even once a week. So to have that short stuff to really keep the profile going, and so when people click on, I have something for them to see, I think that's important. And then like you said, then that, you know, jumping off into doing full production was key. I definitely wouldn't have done it without it, and I think it will continue on. And the full production, like when people now see that appeals to a different audience. That full production is now appealing to people that are placing me in luxury that wouldn't have probably placed me there if all they saw were my short little videos talking to the screen. So now that I'm doing these like full on production, expensive, crazy videos, people are now starting to pivot me and put me in a brand of luxury. And I know it's working because I'm getting phone calls saying, hey, I saw you sold that $5 million house. I think that you would have clients for my $7 million house. You know what I mean? So it's like, I've literally gotten those phone calls, even though I've just been doing the full production in the last few months.
Love it. Real quick footnote before we jump over to Keith. Do y'all know that it's just as easy to sell a $10 million house? It's actually easier to sell a $10 million house, one of them, than it is to sell $500,000 houses. Subsequently, it's just as easy or easier to sell a $2 million house than it is to sell four $500,000 homes. There's no reason everybody here shouldn't jump into the luxury market. You have the right, the ability, and the skill to do so. And we have the most amazing luxury tools I have ever seen. These beat Sotheby's, they beat everything else, in there at your disposal. If you're a luxury agent, you're working towards it. Don't sell yourself short. Awesome is what you deserve. Keith, right to you. Same question, my friend. Shorts, full production, where you see this, and give me your thoughts, my friend.
So George, I think that you like really hit the point with what you said going into the question. You got to start short. Okay, YouTube and full production like Jessica's doing is great. It's got to be a part of your long-term strategy. If you're a newer agent or you're new to video, don't worry that Jessica's spending money on big stuff. Just get useful video content out there so people can connect with you, see your personality, and see what you're communicating to them. The other thing I would say about why 15 to 60 seconds is so important is you can leverage those short videos, not just on social media. You can put them in your newsletter. You can text them to people for your CRM system if that has a video element to it. So a main part of what I do is texting short videos to people, because I believe they're more likely to see that video at lunchtime while they're eating than if I email them that video. So do short, get them done, get some momentum going with your short videos, less production value, less graphics, less B-roll video covering up the parts where you're not on camera, and just build momentum that way. And then you'll become comfortable, and then you can do longer YouTube videos or full production like Jessica's doing. But just get started.
Thank you very much. All of you are just awesome for sharing all this. I want to talk a little bit about the difference between shorts and longs, and we're going to do that towards the end. Actually, we're going to jump into that right now. So if you're doing short videos, you are your editor. If you're going to do long videos, you can be your editor. However, it may not be your strong suit. Now, I will let everybody know I've got some experience in this. Jackie and I have been aggressively doing videos for the last 3 months. We have 48 videos shot, which is like a crazy number of videos produced in that time frame. We really said we're just going to blitz market and blitz to it, and it's worked out very well. So we're very pleased with it. We're starting to see the results. Here's the thing. I'm not a video editor. I can do the camera. I can teach myself to do that. If you're not a details person, you're probably not a video editor. You want to hire one. Upwork, Fiverr is where you want to send it. Now, here's what I would challenge anybody who's getting into doing a little bigger production. Let's say you're going to do a 4-minute video. Shoot the video, and remember, you probably have in a 4-minute video, and I would love to get a quick answer from Chris and Jessica and Keith on this one, and Deep as well, because I know you're jumping in that arena as well. If you're shooting a video that's over 30 seconds or 60 seconds, there's a very good chance you're going to have B-roll or extra visuals that go in there. It's not going to be just you on camera. Would you all agree that that's probably a fairly accurate statement?
Yes.
Right on. One. Anybody else? Yeah. Okay. We got some nodding heads. Great. Thank you all very much. So here's the suggestion. If you think you want to edit it, you've got iMovies and whatever people use on PCs, because I'm not a PC guy anymore. You can do some of your own editing. I'm going to challenge you, though, to go to Fiverr or go to Upwork. And I suggest Upwork, and hire a video editor for about $15 or $20 an hour. If they say it's 25, say I'll give it to you for 20. It'll probably take about $100 for them to edit it, about 5 hours, plus or minus. That's about the average per 10-minute video. So probably 3 hours for a shorter one. Deal with that and do your editing with them. You edit yours, let them edit theirs, and see what happens. Come up with whatever you want. Steal the B-rolls. Don't worry about copyrights, because you're probably not going to use yours anyway. The reason I say this is you need to understand the dynamic that goes into the challenge of doing this, and then you'll value somebody else doing it at a higher level, and you'll find out if you enjoy it or not, where it's not an issue. Get that first one done, that first production done. I'm not talking just to Tiffany Mosby, who should be paying attention and looking at me on the camera. Get that first production done. Try and do your own editing if you want to, and definitely hire somebody to do it. That, again, if they say 25, say I'll give it to you for 20. I'm trying to build this up and I don't have the ability to start yet, but I want to do the editing, and see what they do with it, and then compare that to what you did. This is a big issue when you're going into a full production. Deep, are you doing a lot of full productions, or are you staying pretty much with the smaller reels? Is that correct? Smaller reels. Awesome. All right.
Smaller
I appreciate
reels only. Yeah. Nothing big.
There's a formula that I've found, and I've studied this for a couple of years, and I've applied it right recently. When you get to a certain point, usually around 6 months in with YouTube marketing. Now, remember, everybody says it's getting very saturated in that market. I agree that it actually is, but it's saturated because most people won't get past the barrier of entrance. If you're doing your reels and your Instagrams and your shorts, you are getting people saying, oh my God, I really like this person. You get to know their personality. I know Chris through there. Before I actually met her, I knew her through there. Jessica as well, and Tiffany. I get there, and Deep and Alina for sure. You get to meet them. The natural transition is into something that's a little longer, a little bigger production, where you're providing a story or a long value string. When you're doing that, if you do that for 6 months, and I'm talking about YouTube pretty exclusively at this point because it's got the most history behind it, you get enough videos in place, you start to build some momentum. That momentum turns into people calling saying, and I quote, Hey, I want to buy a home. Are you talking to any other agents? No, I'm in a relationship. I like you. You're the person I want to work with. Before you meet them, they will already know you and foster a relationship. Now, Keith has experienced this on TV. People come up to him and go, I just love you. And he's never met him before. People do that to Jackie. When I did some TV commercials, I would hear the same thing. And that's the value. And it's also being done, don't misunderstand me, with what Chris is doing and what Jessica's doing. They're also creating relationships, because these people that are saying, hey, I've got a $7.2 million home, Jessica, I want you because you've got buyers. They're not doing that because they don't like her. They're doing that because they do like her, and she's bringing a value proposition. Same thing with Chris. It's not just that, Chris is a commercial agent by trade. It's that they have a relationship previously established. And that's the important part we're building with video. In fact, I'm going to spin it around even more. Communicating to your database with video, bringing items of value, short, little ones, is, and I'm going to have, Chris has something to add to this, because this is, I can see her going, okay, either that or she's pointing at the traffic cop saying, don't give me a ticket. But bringing something of value is also creating a deeper and stronger relationship. So look for those opportunities. If nothing else, use the video and what you've learned today to communicate on behalf of yourself to your database. Folks, do you have anything to add to that?
I just want to add that we used to call it in TV, we called it viewer benefit. What's the viewer benefit of the story, right? 7 million people are doing silly stuff on Instagram and TikTok saying, look at me, look at me. Don't do that. Add some value, put some content in there. What can I take? Why did I spend time watching your video? What can I get out of your video? Not, I look great today. You know what I mean? Put some value in the video.
I love it. And that is also what they're going to get. If you're bringing that value, Keith, which is so important, they're going to get that and the relationship. And I won't get past the relationship. I can't move past that. And that's what I want you guys to focus on. Jessica, Chris, do y'all have anything you want to add?
Another point that I was going to add to, a lot of people are worried about what people think, or nobody's going to like my video. Just stop that. Like your own, not physically like it, but like the own content that you put out. I put stuff out on LinkedIn that's different than TikTok, that's different than Instagram. They all perform different, right? But you go to my LinkedIn, maybe I have 1 like on my video talking about multifamilies, but that video with the 1 like, not even from this person, I got reached out to from an asset manager. I had a $2.65 million multifamily under contract. I've got a 80 unit complex that I've stabilized with them. We're still hunting 139 plus doors. So I don't worry about who's following you and who's liking your post. Put the value out there, like Keith said.
Yeah.
So freaking true. I think too, off of that, with the short form and the stuff that we're putting out there on a regular basis, that's connection. That's what's trending. That's what's working. The longer form, or what I'll call the more professionally produced, or maybe something I spend more time on, same as Chris. I actually know those things are not going to perform as well. Those are literally just branding plays. Those are plays to get the calls for the multi-million-dollar listings. Those are not to get new followers, new leads. Really, those are truly just for the branding piece. That short form, that connection, and those smaller videos that are going to be spun out by Instagram, thrown to other people on TikTok, that's how you're going to grow, and people are going to get to know you, and people are going to get to like you. Seriously, those professionally produced videos, I expect them to perform poorly. I know it sounds weird, but those are truly just a branding play so that people start to view me and see me in luxury. The short form is actually how you're going to grow and get better and continue to have people find you, connect with you, like you, trust you.
So I'm going to go counterpoint on that one. I think the long form is a way at which to create long relationships with specific targets. So Jackie and I are geographically oriented for the Central Florida area as far as creating relationships in here. And the long form has a proven history which to do so. I guess the thrust of it is they both work.
Correct.
But you have to be comfortable realizing that you're not going to be perfect to start with, and that you will get better very, very quickly. And more importantly, there isn't one person here, except for Keith, and Jackie, who is classically trained, but they have, and poke fun at you, Keith, on that one, and Jackie, of course. But I mean, looking at Chris, looking at Jessica, they put in the time on task over time. They took their egos out of it. They came from contribution. They probably have some really bad videos. And I guarantee if you go to Chris's videos, she still hasn't gotten rid of them, whereas I'm going to get rid of mine. So they're there. So if you're even questioning, oh my God, I don't know if I can do it, follow Chris, go find her first video and go, holy crap, that's horrible. I mean, look at her. Now we get the blush. All right, do the same with me. Don't look at Jackie's videos because she's been great. She's like Keith, they're like literally savants at this. It's okay not to be awesome because that's really who you are. And if you're like, imagine this. So I called up to try and show a house and I didn't, the agent, they just didn't answer the phone. And I'm trying to get my buyer in here. And it's just so annoying that they didn't answer. And it's just, I mean, my God, agent, if you're watching, pick up your phone. I'm trying to help you sell it. I've got a buyer who's interested. Now that is just authentic and uncomfortable and it probably doesn't look great, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So I hope you guys got something from this. I want to open it up. I've got 5 minutes left, then I'm going to run. Questions for these guys. I want to respect their time at 9:30. 9:30, y'all need to be on the phone prospecting, start building some business. If you have some questions, raise your hand. If you have some questions, just unmute your mic. We'll know who you are and ask away. This is for you.
George, I'd like to give one more tip for the guys. I can't give makeup tips for the ladies. They already know how to do that. But for the guys, this is a little top secret deal. Some of us, as we got older, the hairline receded, right? That's just part of life. It's okay, George. You're still beautiful, man. Mm-hmm. This is MAC Matte. Okay, this is by MAC. And it is a matte cream that is clear. The tube is clear, the cream is clear. And you just rub it on and it kills the shine. This stuff is magical, right? So if you're going to do videos where you're going to have some lighting and it might be a little hot and you'll be there for any amount of time, you got to get some of this. This stuff is the shine killer. Now you can also do a little bit of makeup. A lot of guys feel weird about putting makeup on, but this is what the pros use. It's called MAC Studio Fix. I'm not going to put on makeup here, but but you just open it up. And then it's got a little brush and you just go like that and you go like that. And if you do it light, it looks amazing. So you do this first and then you do the light makeup over it and you look great. That's it. That's my tip mostly for the guys, but get yourself some of that MAC because it will kill the shine for you.
Can I piggyback on that?
Yeah,
really
please.
Quick? I found something because it also has sunscreen in it. And I find that I'm almost always glistening out and about. It's summer. So I have L'Oreal Miracle Blur. It does something very similar, but it also has sunscreen in there.
Nice.
So I use this. It stays in my purse. And guys, you can feel a little better about this because then you're just like, no, babe, it's sunscreen. This is not that. I didn't take your product. This is my sunscreen. So this also works.
Love it. Hey, I dropped a link in there to a link to my channel. If you like what you're doing, for me, this is a shameless plug because for me, where I need to go, I need to get up to a certain amount of subscribers on the channel. If you click on it, somewhere in there, it says J&G channel, I think. That would be a great help. Crap, I had something to add. I forgot what it was.
Can I ask a question really fast?
Please, of course. Yes, Virginia.
Okay. Do you answer to each person that comments in your videos, or how do you manage that? How do you call them back, or how do you approach people commenting on your videos?
That's a good question. I'll go ahead and jump in. So I do, especially when I first post, I try to stay on and respond to comments. It boosts the engagement. So if you're posted a video, it's getting comments, and then you're also replying back, you're literally doubling your comments. So I try to respond to comments, especially in the beginning. And then if you have a video go viral or something, you may want to then exit out and not look at it ever again.
The thing I would add to that is I need to do more of it, but I think it's great if you can reply to the comments because it's just like basic human connection stuff. Like, I watched your video and I like your content and I like you, and I left a comment, and gee, he or she took time to reply to my comment. I feel a little bit special. So it's just kind of a connection thing. It's just kind of a image. I care about you. I'm connected to you type of a thing.
For me too, a little tip, you guys, if I hate myself on video, so I post and ghost, and then I'll come back after I post another, right before I post another video, I'll comment and I'll like all the comments from the last video that people commented on. Then I'll immediately post the next video. That way everyone that commented last time is bumped to my new video and they're happy that I just commented. So the likelihood that they'll see my video because we've just interacted is greater. So I feel like that works for me.
Love it. That is that's a really high level tip right there too, by the way. If y'all get that, really high level, because you want to be as engaged as possible. I was actually just replying back to a snarky person who was commenting on, I would never move to Florida. Cool. Where are you from? Ohio. So I'd never moved to Ohio. I didn't say that. I was actually pleasant. All right. I'm going to turn it over to Tiffany. I have to go. First off, I have to do this. Chris, Jessica, Keith, thank you very, very much for sharing. You guys are awesome. Greatly appreciate the partnership. And for everybody on here, please seek them out. Look for them. It is important that you are engaged with our partners because we all work together. We're here to support each other. So if you have a chance, go in there, like what they're doing, engage, and leave a snarky comment like, you know, oh, Chris, your first video sucked. I wouldn't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh no, I'm so used to them. People think I should just delete all my accounts because my eyebrows. So I guess I should shave those off too.
No. You know what? Not the sign language. Thank you. The Italian gesticular motion here, right?
Oh, they should
All
see
right.
the chin hair.
Okay. I've got to get those shaved off too. All right, guys, have an amazing day. Go out there. Hey, next or tomorrow we got Fred DeFalco on. Godfather's on Thursday. It's all about building community, and I'm gonna let you in a little secret. Tiffany's gonna be talking on that one. So she's going to be heavily involved with that too. But we are talking about building a community around yourself because community is mission critical. You need to have your peeps around you. So we're going to cover that, how to do it painlessly, how to continue to make it grow. Again, shameless plug for me. Please go to the link in the chat box. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do. If you want to leave a comment on something, as long as it's not snarky, I'll definitely reply back. I will not ghost, not on this one. The YouTube channel, you can't ghost on. Have an amazing day. Thank you guys again. Seriously, Chris, Jessica, Keith, God bless you. You're awesome. Really appreciate it. All the love. Miss Tiffany,
Yep.
it's to you.
Thank you.